If you land on a page and there's a widget, it's multiple steps. You get the price before you get their info. It prompts you to, log in as a guest or create an account. Like, that's all too much. Have you ever wondered why some Limo websites get tons of bookings and others barely get any? Your website and your landing pages are like a 24/7 salesperson, and it's important that there are certain procedures you follow if you really want to maximize the number of bookings and leads that your websites and landing pages get. In this video, by the end of it, you're going to learn where to use a website and where to use a landing page. Very important because they're for different things. You're going to learn best practices that apply really to both websites and landing pages. What are the things we want? What is social proof? What are CTAs? What sort of copy, the writing on the website landing page itself? What should we be saying? How should we be coming up with that copy? And finally, the common mistakes that I see often that you're going to want to avoid. So first off, when do you use a website and when do you use a landing page? I had last week a small operator called me and he wanted to find out more about how he could start growing his limo business. He was asking all about a website and did he need one? He said he didn't have one. And I told him that, and this might be surprising to a lot of you, you don't actually have to have a website when you're first starting out, even though eventually it's something you want to get. But I liken a website to kind of like a logo. It's something that new operators really focus on a lot, but the amount of, money they're going to make if they do have a website in the beginning is you're not really going to be getting bookings from it, right? Because the website won't be ranked in Google. And so the only way people will be able to get to it is if, you're posting on social media, maybe it's on your business card. So that brings me to, what is the main difference? And the main difference is this. For landing pages, which the definition of a landing page is any page you land on after you click an ad. So it's kind of weird in that your website can act as your landing page, right? The inner pages, the home page, because if you click on your ad and it's sent to your homepage of your website, then that is your landing page. But as far as this video is concerned and how most online marketers describe it is they are different things. A landing page is typically going to just be a one-page website that is built for one thing. It's not built to rank in Google. It's not built for branding purposes. It's not built for anything other than to get whatever you're trying that person to do on that landing page to get them to do that thing. And so for most of you operators out there, it's going to be getting someone to give you a call, getting someone to request a quote through a one or multi-step quote form, getting someone to initiate a live chat, or getting someone to actually book online if you're using a booking tool. Now, a website I highly recommend having once you get to a certain stage of growth, because once you're at a certain stage, you really need to have a website for your Google business profile. You need to have something you can send people to. Let's say for repeat clients, someone who wants to book with you again, you need somewhere you can send them to book online if you're using an online booking tool. And then long term for search engine optimization. So that's a video that I went over the basics of what that is, where you're trying to rank organically in that local map pack or in the organic listings below that. Eventually you do want to do SEO and you want to rank organically, because over time that's going to bring down your overall cost per lead and therefore your cost to acquire a new client, and therefore over time, you're going to be more profitable, because if you just rely on pay-per-click, which can be really great, but it's expensive. And so long-term, when you want to really build a brand and you're not just trying to kind of get by week to week, month to month, that's really when you want to have a website that's SEO optimized. And I highly recommend having a web developer that knows SEO build that site for you. Okay, so what are the things we want to keep in mind when we are building a website or building landing pages? I mean, a lot of these things I'm going to go over are going to apply whether you have a website or landing pages, or many of our clients have a website and they have landing pages for their pay-per-click campaigns. And so no matter what you're doing, you want to have these elements. I should say probably good copy here. You want to have all of these elements on each page of the site. So let's start with the most important element, and that is this one right here, social proof. Well, what's social proof? Well, social proof, it's a psychological phenomena where it's sort of like monkey see, monkey do. When people are watching others do something, they themselves will want to do it more. We see this in business everywhere, and everyone's susceptible to it. Even the big investing firms, I heard about, a story years ago where SBF, the big crypto guy, lots of really big companies invested in him, and nobody really did their due diligence. And the reason for that was the first investor they had, I believe it was a really well-known firm called Sequoia, who's invested in a lot of the best companies. What happened is a lot of these other funds saw that Sequoia had invested, and I believe it was Sequoia, correct me if I'm wrong here, but anyways, these guys, which are probably the smartest business people, the VCs, the tech industry, they're the best at business in the world. They were even doing the same mistake. They were not doing their due diligence, and because they saw this one VC firm was investing, they all invested, and nobody did their due diligence. And this is really common. The reason I'm telling you guys about this story is everyone's susceptible to it, and we want to take advantage. It's not being manipulative. It's not unethical. It's something that every business should be doing. And the biggest, most important piece of social proof are reviews. So your reviews, I cannot emphasize this enough. That's 2025 now. It's just going to get more and more important in the age of AI. Search is changing. Things are rapidly evolving. And now more than ever, I have noticed that having real reviews from real customers is so important. That's why it's so important to make sure the chauffeurs you're using are really top notch, because they are representing your brand. I can't tell you how valuable it is to have a few just really good reviews. I mean, you want to have hundreds of 5-star reviews, but having a review, for instance, you do airport transfers, having a review where someone goes into detail, who is their driver, and they tell a story. And because what's going to happen is someone's going to land on your page. Maybe they're looking for an airport transfer. And what I recommend is having different pages for your different services. So maybe you do weddings, airport transfers, concerts, sporting events, whatever. And on that page, having reviews of people that have booked your service for that specific thing. Because what happens is, and I'm sure you all do this as well when you buy something, is you're reading the review, and what you're thinking in the back of your mind is, this person's like me. They're in the situation I'm in, and wow, this person went above and beyond for this client, therefore they will do that for me. So I can't overstate this enough. Getting good reviews in each category of service you offer. Maybe it's someone going out in a party bus. You don't want to have airport transfer reviews on a party bus landing page, right? And it's even better if they include images. Well, once you've had a Google business profile long enough, or Yelp, you're going to notice there's some users that they really take their time and they take photos and they include those photos in the reviews. Those are by far the most valuable reviews you can get. And it really speaks volumes, especially when you can tell the person, has a Google profile set up so you can see their picture. You can see they've left a bunch of other reviews. The ones that aren't as good is when you're looking at reviews and this person's only left one review and there's no picture. And, they just say something, oh, everything was great. Don't get me wrong, that helps get you more total reviews and it's better than not getting a review. But the best reviews are the ones that tell a story and tell a relatable story. Maybe something happened in their trip. They were stressed out. It was a long flight. Their flight was delayed. And man, we got there and waiting at the bottom of the escalator was a chauffeur, immaculately dressed, with an iPod in hand, with our name. And we knew then that our journey has finally ended. We can finally relax. Those are the kind of reviews that get people to book. And when they're comparing vendors, when they're comparing who are they going to use for their airport transfer? Reviews like that, even if you're charging more than your competitors, will get you the types of clients you're looking to get. So social proof is reviews. There's also badges and trust symbols. So badges and trust symbols, those are things like maybe you're a part of the NLA. That's a decent one, right? It shows that you're a part of an association, so it makes you look a little more legit. That's probably more helpful for affiliates. But what are things that the end client might care about? Well, maybe you're on Yelp or TripAdvisor. Maybe you won some award. It could be really any sort of award, even if it's those awards they pretty much give to anyone. Anytime you can use like a badge that shows that you excelled in some way, or even if you were featured in articles on certain magazines, right? Or certain online publications, or if you have some really big clients, really big corporate clients, and you get their permission to use their logo, trusted by, that can be so valuable because, of course, just like the story I told you, they're like, oh man, Sequoia invested? Man, those guys really know what they're doing. And so it's almost like the due diligence has already been done by a brand you trust, and therefore you trust them, right? It's kind of a shortcut. Okay, so good copy. So what's copy? Copy are the headline, the bullet points. For landing pages, you really want to just stick to headlines and bullet points. Having long paragraphs, people will not read them. And the main thing I want you guys to focus on when you're creating your copy is this: what's in it for them, right? So don't talk about your company. Don't talk about anything that's not a benefit to them. Like, what is in it for them by using you guys? And sometimes you have to get creative. Maybe it's car seats are included, right? Maybe it's a meet and greet is included. Now, many of you are probably thinking, man, how can I include a meet? Like, that takes us so much longer. And well, think about this. What if, first off, are you trying to go for the cream of the crop, the people that are your ideal clients where it's not a money thing? Money isn't their number one concern. Why don't you just increase all your rates across the board, include that meet and greet? So build that into your price. Now, if you're operating out of an airport where this just is impossible, just disregard this. But if you're operating in a location where you can do meet and greets, I highly suggest build it into your pricing. And then if they balk at the price, or you just have a feeling that, okay, this client might not be my ideal client, but I still think I can book them, it gives you somewhere to go, right? You can say things like, I would love to give you a first-time client discount. I just noticed that I can't find you in our system. We would love to earn your business and give you a first-time client discount. Or in this case, well, I'll tell you what, we include a meet and greet, but if we don't have to do the meet and greet, I can shave off $25, $30, $35, whatever that is, and it gives you some wiggle room, right? Because you don't want to start with the lowest rate, especially if it's a phone call. When you're texting back and forth, it can be a little bit more challenging and time sensitive because you can't see or hear their reaction, I should say. You can't hear their reaction when you give them the quote. But highly, highly recommend for you guys that can do that, start doing it. But with the copy, you want to focus on what are the unique benefits you can provide. And if you need to think of, if you need an idea generation, if you're getting stuck, here's what you do. Go to Yelp, search for limo services near you, and look through all of the bad reviews. Like, try to find some companies with a bunch of bad reviews. And I want you to find 50 or 100 of them. And I want you to copy all of those bad reviews. And you might have to go to multiple profiles to get enough bad reviews. Copy that all and paste it into a Google Doc. Then you're going to take all of those reviews, you're going to go to ChatGPT, and you're going to tell it you're trying to come up with copy for your limo website or your landing page. And those reviews should be based around airport transfers, for instance. So, and then you find bad reviews for weddings. And so you've got different sort of sets of bad reviews for each. And then what you want to do is you want to have it help write your benefits for you, right? It's going to come up with the things that you really want to say, we don't do this, or you can also do that with good reviews and copy 50, 100 good reviews and say, hey, these are some good reviews. Can you help me craft some copy with benefits of working with our company? And it's likely going to be things like, on time sort of things. You can even do things that might seem a little crazy, like what if you just say, if we're late, the ride is free. Now, for those of you that just heard that and like, that's insane, I would never do that. Well, you need to first calculate, how often does that happen? First off, that should never happen, right? They're booking you for a reason if you're late. That's really bad. Now, I'm guessing it rarely happens. You might be thinking, but Mark, why would I do that? Usually it's not even really our fault. There's something out of our control. It doesn't matter, right? The reason, and I'm not saying that's what you do, but this is how you should be thinking. What will your competitors not do, right? Okay, so let's say 1 out of every 20 or 25 rides you have to give for free, right? Well, how many extra rides did you get because you have a super unique selling proposition, right? They call them USPs. How many extra rides can you get if you have a super unique benefit that nobody else is doing? Because this stuff is hard, right? We work with over 120 limo businesses all across the US, and it's how do you stand out, right? You stand out by doing things that others are not doing. Charge more, right? Charge a premium, but do the things and offer the risk reversals. If we're late, you know, you do not pay for your ride, or shoot, if you're late, you don't pay for your ride and we give you a free ride. I know that sounds nuts, but if you really want to stand out and charge premium rates, offering things like that will make a big difference. So CTA, that's short for call to action. And so what you want to do is throughout the website or landing page as soon as someone lands on your site, first off, most people are going to be on their mobile phones. Go to your website or landing page right now, and I want you to see, once you land on the site, don't scroll. Where's your phone number? How do you get a quote? Before you scroll, can you find either of those things? If there's no phone number and there's no quote request or a live chat or something, before they start scrolling, okay? So can they find something right there to get a quote? Because what happens is someone will click on your ad, or they might see your listing, your organic listing, and they already think, because they did a search, they trust Google, knows that if they're putting your website up in the top, this company has what you're looking for, right? That's what's on their mind. So for most people, they're just like, I just want a quote, right? And so if I land on your page on my mobile phone and I can't find your phone number, that's frustrating, right? Very frustrating. Is the text too small? Can you read it? Think about it. Most people do not see that well, right? If the text is too small, some people are colorblind. So the mistakes I've seen, and this was, the common mistakes I wanted to talk about at the very end. A very common mistake is I'll land on a website or landing page of an operator and it'll be gorgeous, right? It'll be very aesthetic. And I'm like, is this a videographer or a limo company, right? And I think a common mistake I see, probably one of the most common, is you try to get too artistic and you think, oh, the phone number, that's so ugly looking. Or, oh man, this quote form, it's so ugly looking. So I'm going to make it tiny and make the text tiny. And it's really freaking dumb, right? Because they can't see it and therefore they don't call you. Or maybe you have an online booking platform that just doesn't have a great user experience. Most of you in the industry a while know what I'm talking about. If you land on a page and there's a widget, it's multiple steps. You get the price before you get their info. It prompts you to, log in as a guest or create an account. Like, that's all too much. And it's not a great experience. And what you want to be doing is capturing their information, right? Then you can give them the quote. Now, most of these new platforms, or at least the higher end ones, will provide that quote and capture their information first. But if you're still one of those operators that's using a platform where the first step is you enter in the routing details and step 2 is vehicle selection with pricing, but you haven't gotten their contact info, I am sorry, but you are throwing away money. Big time. Okay, so lastly, as far as common mistakes, there's the can't find the phone number, the booking form, and then another one would be just a really slow load time, right? People do not always have super fast internet connections where they're at, and so if you've got a very slow load time, not only will that hurt your SEO, but that's going to also get people that just leave. And if you can do one thing, just make sure your grandma or the least tech-savvy person you know, send them a link to your site and ask them to give you a call, ask them to request a quote, and ask them to be honest, like, was that easy to find? Because the last person who should be testing this is you, or your web design agency, or your marketing agency. Granted, the good ones know this and know how important it is that it's easy to navigate. So anyways, guys, look, if you take away anything from this, whether you have a website, landing page, or both, make sure you're nailing this and really think about what are the benefits here. When you're thinking about copy, like what are some unique things you can offer, and don't get caught up in the, man, 1 out of every 50 people is going to get a free ride. Well, maybe you're booking now 20% more rides, right? So now you're getting, 9 more rides than you would have gotten without this unique benefit. And then finally, have calls to action. That's like, get a quote now button. That's call now button. All throughout each page of your website. I see this too often where, the home page will have a form and a phone number, but all of the inner pages don't. You want to have it on every single page. If they want to call you, if they want to just fill out a form, and live chat can work, it can be good, but the main thing is you have to be responsive on that live chat. That's why I typically tell people, unless you have like some sort of automated like bot that is responding, you should have 24/7 staff. We probably won't need this for that many more years because of AI and everything, but I recommend not doing live chat for most companies unless they've got it automated or they have the staff that can check it around the clock. So anyways, guys, I hope this was valuable, and do this. Go right now to your website, or better yet, send your website to someone who's not tech savvy and have them on their phone try to call you, try to request a quote, and find out, was it frustrating? Because if it was frustrating for them, I guarantee you, you're losing out on lots and lots of revenue. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, and let me know in the comments if you like these sorts of beginner videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next week.